Now, you're not seeing the video because Tom has rejected the video as being too offensive for Western audiences.
He has self-censored.
He self-censored our My Sharia song. Just let you all public know.
Oh, my arms.
My Sharia, never gonna
Keep
stop.
him in the camera. Keep him in the
Killing
camera.
infidels, always got it planned. Underhand, give a lie.
Whoa, almost
yell,
fell.
my,
All right, we have an in-house fight going on.
Yes,
A brutal
knockdown, drag out fight.
We normally play, and not to say we wouldn't in the future, we normally open Jumpin' Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. Okay.
Oh, you kind of threw that one on me real quick.
Jumpin' Jumm'ah Freaky Jumping Jumm'ah.
Tom, you need to explain,
Freaky
understand
Friday.
something about the TriCaster. When one thing is playing, you cannot go immediately to the other. Unless someone makes a very generous donation to theunitedwest.org, in which case we could get a jacked up
now that you
TriCaster.
Sounding like this guy.
Now that you've
sounding
given me time,
this
see, now
guy.
I can do the Jumpin' Jimmy Freaky Friday thing.
Now.
Right?
And as I said,
Silence!
it's a black screen.
Oh.
That was good. All right, hi everybody. Tom Trento on the 6th of February, 7 minutes after the hour. And the hour for our special guest, who we're going to bring in just a moment from Israel, is 7 hours different than our hour. That's why radio people say 7 minutes after the hour, because wherever you may be a different hour than the person that is listening somewhere else. You get that?
Unless the show gets
But it's
started.
4 o'clock here in Florida, okay? Yeah, unless it's a repeat, then you don't have any idea what the hour is.
Let's do it.
But it's Jumpin' Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, and we have a cute little dancing Sharia woman playing to My Sharona, one of my favorite songs, as an opening. But we get a lot of letters here at the United West, and many of them are just kind of whack jobs throwing stuff out. But I got a letter that was a very thoughtful letter, and the person thought that it was inappropriate to have the dancing Sharia woman.
Well, we should show it to them, show them what we're talking about.
You can show it to them.
Okay.
And
I'll show. This is what Tom.
this is what we're gonna take a look at.
Okay.
This is our dancing Sharia woman that
Okay.
opens our show.
I thought Jen was your
And-
dancing Sharia woman.
We're gonna bring her out. There
she is. She is right there.
All
I
right.
usually play this song along with it in the background.
My Sharia.
She's fully dressed,
Fully
nothing like
dressed.
that.
Yeah.
Fully dressed, she's wearing a burqa.
She's wearing a burqa with
You
a
can't get any
No,
more.
is that
that's a little bit of
little
flash.
cleavage. A
That
little
is
bit-
cleavage there. I always
Yes.
thought it was like a white. All right, so that's the stuff that someone complained about. Wouldn't be the right word, but said, could you please take a second look at this? This could be considered offensive, and we know that you're trying to reach Muslims out there, and if you're trying to reach Muslims with information to move them away from Islam, the system of Islam, to secularism, to Judaism, to anything where they don't want to put suicide belts on themselves and blow them up, you're creating an obstacle immediately by starting your show with something like this.
So in essence, Tom caved. What do you think about that, Imam Abdullah?
Well, first
So you
of
got
all,
to him then. You got to him.
I
didn't you?
believe that it should absolutely not be on the air. I agree with your viewer, and
I'm not-
thank you very much.
I'm not there yet. I
Wait,
said.
Did you tell? All right. Did you say we could play it on the air? Yes or no?
No, can't be played on the air.
It cannot be played on the air.
Except that we just played it. Can't be played on the air until I read. It was a very long letter, and we're a little busy these days to read long letters. But I'm going to read it and look at it, think about it, then we'll discuss it, then we'll make a decision. Most likely we're going to play it, but we owe it to thoughtful people who said
But in the
thoughtful
meantime, you're going
letters.
to submit to Islamic demands.
I would
Yes.
like to be in
No,
on this
it wasn't.
discussion.
It wasn't a Muslim. It was a Christian guy.
That's even worse.
Christian guy
That's
saying,
even worse, Tom.
Christian guy saying, if you're trying to reach out and help Muslims, why are you putting an obstacle at
Because
the
we're
front of
showing
your show
it.
to reach
This
them?
is not offensive. This is not offensive.
And the answer may be because we use, in a very unique way, we use satire, we use parody.
Hey, when we have
use
Jerusalem
comedy.
Jane on, then we should ask her to cover up her breasts and cover up her hair because it might be offensive to Muslims coming
Let's
on.
check out her hair right now, direct from Jerusalem.
I can't put
None
her picture.
other than-
I can't put her picture up, Tom. It's too offensive to
None
me.
other than,
It's way too offensive.
none other than
No, she's too offensive.
I don't think she's offensive at all.
Jerusalem Jane. All right. Oh my God, too much blonde hair.
All
Hi.
right, let me take her off then.
I am having.
We'll just use audio only on her because her blonde hair and blue eyes are too seductive to Muslim men.
Now that could be. Jane, would you mind covering up from now on because we do have an Islamic audience?
You know what? Today it's Friday. We got 23 degrees. I just sat in my bikini outside. I put on clothes to cover up. Want me to cover up more?
Well,
So what's your take on this whole controversy, Jane? Where do you think Tom the Wimp should be on this issue?
Okay, I have an honest question. Was that a man or a woman dancing?
On
That's
the
a
dance?
good
Oh,
question.
yes, that's a good question.
well,
We
if
don't-
that was cleavage, I guess it could be fake cleavage.
It could have
It
been
could be
Bruce
fake, yes.
Jenner.
Yeah, because you couldn't
Could
tell.
have been, it
No,
was
I-
Bruce Jenner.
I
Yeah.
just mean I saw it online and I thought it was it seriously looks like a guy. I thought it was a guy.
I thought it was a good dancer. Whatever.
Not as good as your show opening dance.
So we're gonna look. This is a developing story, ladies and gentlemen. Western civilization hangs in the balance.
I don't think guys could do this. I
But
really don't think they
let
could.
me see.
I don't.
Hang
Some
on.
guys can.
I don't think guys could do this.
It's got good moves. If
here,
we're gonna show it again.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, I see
Seriously,
why
that
she's.
looks like a guy.
Yeah, she's right. It does look like a guy.
Well, I don't know.
Face.
I said,
You
look,
can't
those
certainly
are
can't
real-
see the Adam's
those
apple.
Are
Oh no,
definitely-
those are.
Those are definitely real boobs.
Yeah, those are.
Those are
Okay.
definitely real boobs.
Yeah, those are
I think
jiggling.
yeah, those are chick. Yeah, let's shake them
Okay,
things
well
again.
you're guys,
This
so
is
you're
really
looking at the
offensive
boobs.
here.
I was actually looking at the face.
Yeah,
No, they're-
well, what do we look at?
They're jiggling for
Poor
our
guys.
Muslim brothers there who are not supposed to look at jiggling front pieces of women. Don't watch the opening of our show today. Just come in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, you know this guy is watching again in all likelihood, and so you're going to have a follow-up letter to the letter you haven't read yet.
Yeah. I'm going to get all kinds of letters.
Okay, if it really is a woman, I'm gonna be in trouble for calling her a guy. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's hard to see. You know, that raises the whole question. And we've been involved with France and Paris for many years, the counter-jihad movement out there. And they have banned the covering of the head and all of that, burqas, all of that, in public space. And whether or not they enforce it, the ban is on the books. But they simply said, in our open society, we don't want women, we don't want your religion covering women up in our society in public space. You want to do that in private, go do whatever you want. They also banned, wearing religious symbols in schools and all that, crosses or stars of David. So they kind of hit all the various religions. But it comes down to this, Jane, and you're at the geopolitical center of the universe. Do you believe there's a clash of civilizations and cultures, the Islamic culture and Western culture? Do you think there's a clash, or is it just misunderstanding?
Hey, I lived in an Arab city for 5 weeks, not covered up. So I have tried this on my own body. I mean, I know, I felt it. They want women covered up, and when we are not, we get attention that we don't want. But are they going to dictate what we are supposed to do or not? No.
Now, yeah, that's very interesting. For our audience that doesn't know, Tom Trento here, your host, Enemies of the State. Name of the show on Fridays. Typically, we have Jumping Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. Jummah is the day that all Muslims, particularly male Muslims, are absolutely required by the Sharia to be at the mosque. And if you read the Sharia, the requirements say unless you don't have a leg, unless, they lay out all these stipulations, you need to be there. If you don't, and you miss 3 times in a row. Now, the scholars and the clerics have a little different shaded interpretation as to whether it's 1 or 3. But if you intentionally miss 3 Jummahs in a row, attending mosque 3 Fridays in a row,
Hellfire for you.
hellfire.
Hellfire for
you are banned to hell. And what a way to control people.
Absolutely. It
You
worked
know?
very good.
And then you get him in there. And if I were creating a diabolical system that wasn't based on truth and I wanted complete adherence to the principles, I make sure that how many hours in a day?
24.
And 5 goes into 24, how many hours? How many times?
4 and
4 or 5 hours.
0.8.
I'd make sure every 4 or 5 hours you're pledging some sort of allegiance to my doctrine.
No, it's brainwashing, total.
In some sort of way. So you don't go more than 4 or 5 hours before you're back pledging allegiance to whatever the thing is, which happens to be what?
Allah.
Allah. 5 times a day, prayer has to happen, and if it doesn't, you're in serious
Hellfire.
trouble.
That is
Well-
why the prominence of the big Zubiba bumps.
But Jane spent 5 weeks. Now, here on WSBR Radio, 740 AM, we've been following the exploits of Jerusalem. Jane from Denmark, years ago, moved to Jerusalem as a Christian, simply to live and assist and pray for Israel, for Jewish people in the old city. And you had a time in those past few years where you lived in an Arab city. Tell us sexually, but not too explicitly, what...
Why not?
Schmucky, calm down.
Oh, Schmucky's coming to life. Jane, tell us your experiences being an uncovered woman, blonde, attractive, blue eyes, the whole Nordic thing going on, Viking thing. Tell us your experiences in this Arab city.
Okay, not nice, to be honest. I had to take the bus going from Damascus Gate. I'm not going to mention what town I was in, but close to Jerusalem. I had to cross the checkpoint and going into an Arab city that was called, when we crossed the checkpoint, we were no longer in Israel, but we were in Palestine. And I was there for 5 weeks, and I had free housing. I was blessed by a Christian Arab, so it was a blessing for me. But I had 2 choices. One was to, and people was actually telling me, Jane, you need to cover up. This is not safe. You can't show even your arms or your ankles. And I was like, are you kidding me? It was in September. It was hot, and I refused to let them dictate, because they can control their eyes, what I'm supposed to wear. So I was wearing what I would have wear under normal circumstances, and they just looked at me like a piece of meat. And whenever I came and I sat in the bus leaving Damascus Gate going to where I lived, I kind of sat for myself, and there was always men coming sitting next to me. And it just happened several times that their arms was kind of, touching my legs, touching my arm, kind of like, was a coincidence. And I moved a little bit, not to be touched, and they just kept touching me. There was a guy offering me cookies, telling me how beautiful I am, and all of these things. So for some reason, Arabs just think they can do that when it's a Western woman. I don't know why, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah, my wife had a similar experience to that.
It needs to be stated at the outset that Jane is a very modest Christian woman, not running around like the current Sports Illustrated model on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Oh, I like
Or
that.
our Sharia slut that we play all the time.
Yeah,
right?
she's not running around like that. But in one sense, Jane, I mean, your experience is probably none other than every girl on the the subway in New York City with what Schmucky or who's
No. I just wanted to say, if
No,
you'll
it's a different
remember the overthrow of Mubarak in Egypt, when the Muslim Brotherhood was running rampant in Tahrir Square, and you heard stories of mass rapes going on in Tahrir Square.
Laura Logan.
And that is
Logan,
that is a truly good example of how Arab Muslims treat women. I mean, we even had one of our own reporters here from a major network, CBS or NBC.
Laura Logan.
Yeah,
She was
right.
raped.
I mean, so that is truly
Right.
when the Muslim Brotherhood are very fundamentalist administrations, if you want to call them, are in power. That is to be expected.
Now, this is very important to say at this point on our Jumpin' Jumm'ah Freaky Friday. We are not speaking supra-doctrinally for Islam. We're speaking doctrinally. The doctrine says that it's extremely difficult and improper for the male to be tempted by the female's body.
Right.
The burden is put upon the female not to tempt the male, because these are natural inclinations and
We
feelings that
cannot
men
help
have.
ourselves.
Men can
Therefore,
control themselves.
the self-control component that the West says men ought to have, which men don't in many respects, but men ought to, the goal is there, the objective is there, doesn't exist in Islam.
It doesn't.
It's not the obligation of the man to control himself, it's the obligation of the woman to cover herself up.
That's the reason women are in veils.
That is the reason they cannot leave the house
They're
without
in potato sacks.
Right.
You
and
know, you-
cannot leave the house without a family member.
Now, one anecdotal thing with my wife, who grew, this is before 9/11, when she actually back in the 70s and 80s. This is not a recent event. They just, because of jihad, been breaking out. This has been a cultural thing for many decades, because she says every person I ever got sexually assaulted by, my breast grabbed, between my legs, everything was always a Muslim Arab. She goes, it's cultural, where it's inside their brain that they can grab women who are Western for no reason whatsoever. Now, beyond the anecdotal is also, you look factually at what has happened in recent years in Norway and other country, how the rape incidents,
issues have gone
it's gone
99.9%.
of white women,
Yeah.
blonde hair, especially the white blonde haired women, is where that rape thing goes way up.
Yep.
And that's
Well, it's also doctrinal that a man can have 4 wives and take as many sex slaves as he can afford.
Yeah,
So
you-
maybe that has a little something to do with it.
You add all this together, ladies and gentlemen,
anecdotal, cultural, doctrinal, and statistical.
and you got a freaked out sexual world of
Of
Arab
Mus-
men, let me
of
tell
Arab
you,
men,
Islamic men. And she,
But can I tell you,
Jerusalem Jane,
this actually happened to me. I got off the train at Damascus Gate, and there was this kid. I mean, what was he, 13? And when he walked next to me, he just grabbed my breast, like it's the most natural thing in the world that he could just do that.
yeah, because you're in their land, in their territory, you're unveiled, you're obviously, there
Kuffar.
you're there for the taking. All right,
Well,
enough.
they view them as Western horrors, is what they do.
Yeah, enough about the and we have done a lot of work on this subject. Need to do a lot
That's
more.
Mark's topic.
That's
Yeah.
You're right
Well,
in
not
my
just the men,
wheelhouse
but the
in this one.
sexuality of Islamic men is really perverted and bizarre.
Well, it's denied, and you go back, you look at Maslow's, physiological needs charts. They deny the sex in the culture, so it has to be released somewhere, and that somewhere has been into violence and
then-
everything.
then
And little boys. Don't forget little boys.
Yeah,
little
there's
boys,
a whole pedophiliac thing. But then you add to that the fact that if you violate those laws, you spend eternity in perdition,
Right.
unless
You
blow
martyr
yourself up.
yourself in jihad.
And you get 72 virgins. What a perverted ideology.
hey, they
to do what?
They squared the circle, man. They brought it all together.
They did.
Yep. All right, Jerusalem Jane, give us a little update, not on the sexual perversions of demented Arab men in Israel, but on the beauty and wonder of this fabulous
limit it to
city,
Israel,
this
by the way.
fabulous city that you're living in.
Well, I love Jerusalem. What can I say? I was with a friend today. He took me to brunch. It was really nice, and we walk in Jerusalem, and he says, "So what do you think? Because we live here. We just take it for granted." And I was like, "This is home. I can't explain it. There's something about Jerusalem that just takes my breath away. Jerusalem has become home to me. This is where I live. This is where I breathe." I talked to someone when I said, when I'm not in Israel, I feel like I can't breathe. I can't explain it. And I'm a Christian, and I was reading in the Bible, and we know how God is speaking about this Jerusalem. This is his city. He dwells on the Temple Mount. He dwells on Mount Moriah. This is his city. So there is something so special about this city that, oh God, I just wish I could explain it. I can't. I love it.
I can't wait to go.
I think you've explained it very, very well. Now, we know that you are essentially a tourist going back and forth and following all the visa regulations and all that. And you're working on trying to get work there and get work visas, and that you are living a life of faith, which means you don't really have a job. You're serving and helping people there. We know that because we get response, you get response. But you actually need money to exist. You have a ministry to pray for Israel, pray for Jewish people. And in the Christian world, the way things work, when they see somebody like Jane, who's a minister, essentially ministering, people tithe.
How come I never had a minister look like that?
Yeah, people.
I'm going to go into Christianity a long time ago.
Christians tithe. They take 10% of their income, and if they want to go above that, they do that too with gifts. And they take that 10% and allocate it different places. We're saying one place you need to allocate it is to Jerusalem Jane, because she is in the center of the universe. How could people donate to you if they like for you to help you continue your work?
Please go on Israel One Nation. That's my page, and they can get in contact with me. But I have a PayPal account, and do you want me to say it here or what?
It's just a link for how people can donate.
Yeah, I have a PayPal account. It's very simple. It's janekeel49 gmail.com.
Okay.
Jane Keel,
Keel
Kiel.
49.
Okay.
And then gmail.com. I will send it to you. So when you post this, put my email down.
Yeah, we could. Well, that will drive them to your Israel One Nation. It's on there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best thing. We'll let them
try.
go.
We got the Israel One Nation.
We've been putting it up while you've been speaking.
Yep.
Yeah, we will be
Okay.
there, Jane, in about 6 weeks or so. I mean, the clock is ticking. With very much. Yeah. Wow.
Wow. 47 days about? Oh, no, wait. Only 28 days in February. Oh, today's the 6th.
Today's the 6th. We're going to be there very shortly, and the folks are getting.
I'm actually having a very interesting time because I am putting my boots down. I'm putting roots down. I experienced the bureaucracy of Israel. Things are a bit slow here regarding. I was offered a job actually, and so my visa. I have a process going out to get a work permit, a work visa. I just got an Israeli bank account. Would you believe it?
Wow.
I got an
What's a
Israeli
bank account?
PayPal.
Very cool.
So slowly, step by step, I'm getting more and more grounded.
Excellent. And we on our 10-day national security briefing, which is going all over the country, basically, of Israel, we spent, I think it's 3 days in Jerusalem. So you, Jerusalem Jane, will be one of our briefers, one of our speakers in our evening time to share your experiences there. But we're going to let you go. But before we let you go right now, we have about 25 people coming over with us, 25, 30 people, something like that. We're keeping it to a small group, pretty intense 10-day briefing. Some of them, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 of them, have never been to Israel. Take a moment and tell them what they're going to expect by being in Israel for their first time.
They're going to fall in love. They're going to fall in love because if you believe in the Bible, coming to Israel is like coming home. That's the best way of describing. Something happened to you when you come to Israel that you can't expect. And I can't explain it to them. But it's going to be like feeling like coming home, and they're going to be traveling in the Bible, and they're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this before. It's going to change their life.
I'm 88 and I've never been.
Yeah, I'm going to slap you silly. What?
Oh.
I'm going to slap you. Don't mess with Viking chicks. Let me tell you, Schmucky. Don't mess with Viking chicks. All right.
No, but seriously, prepare yourself to have your heart changed, your mind, your soul, your body. You will not be the same after you have been in Israel. I promise you.
And on that inspiring close, we're going to let you go, Jerusalem Jane. We'll check in next week with you unless, and of course, something comes up. And we'll contact you to get a direct report from the Holy Land. But until then, shalom, Jerusalem Jane.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
At 30 minutes after, Tom Trento, WSBR Radio, 740
You're
AM
going
on
to
your
get slapped
dial.
silly, huh?
He's going to slap you silly, Schmucky. That
I'm
was
looking
cool.
forward to it.
Be smacked by a Viking. That'd be something. No, she's a wonderful lady. I met her in November with Michael Gano, and the three of us traveled around, went to Ariel, spent the whole day together, then some other time together. and she's an amazing Christian woman living on faith, living essentially month to month, no savings, nothing like that. So if you can help her financially, I don't believe there's any tax deductions or tax exemptions for it. If you're interested in donating that way, contact me, Tom, at the United West. We may be able to help with that, put her on as part of some of the work we're doing out there.
And Facebook, Israel One Nation.
Israel One Nation. And pray for her safety, because you remember just a couple of weeks ago she was going through some difficult time. Still is, but she has now, let's just say, some very big, strong men who may or may not work for the Israeli government, kind of helping her out. So she's okay. And she's going to be doing a lot of work with us and for the country, really. She really loves that country. You can see it. All right. Now, I have on my script here on this Friday.
We have a script today?
Yeah. The 6th of February. I have an Israel update by Jerusalem Jane.
Okay.
Did we do that?
Yes,
We did that.
We did that.
Then, if you can read what's after the update Israel, what does it say next?
It says, jaw.
No, on the title.
Oh, down date Texas.
We have an update in Israel, and then we have a down date in Texas.
A down date.
A down date. New word. Coining a new word at 640 days before the election on Tuesday, November 8th, 2016. Only 640 days left to Election Day. We're going to do a little down date now on what's going on in Texas. Whereas
What do you mean by down date, Tom?
it's a downer, what we're going to do now.
This is
Oh, I thought it was like
pathetic.
An
down.
update gets you up.
Oh, so
a down date.
so we're gonna like
Get
suck
you
you down.
This is atrocious.
Jerusalem Jane brought us good news. Texas is bringing us bad news. That's the down date.
Second time in 2.5 weeks. 3 weeks they're doing that.
It's really, you want to talk about atrocious? It's
Yeah,
really,
what
really
is it?
atrocious.
Is this something to do with our buddies? Is that Buddies at Care story that I think I might have heard of?
Yeah, if we can put the story up. Here's the situation, folks. 33
You know
minutes
what?
after.
This deserves this background if you're going to do this.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
33 minutes after we were inspired by Jerusalem Jane in the first part of our show now. We're going to be disinspired, uninspired,
Depressed?
non-inspired,
Suicidal? Or what?
No, not
Not
suicidal.
suicidal?
aggravated. Actually, it's de jure. It's what's occurring now. And
It
what
is
we're-
a victory for the Ummah.
It is. It's the bad guys. Chalk up a win for the bad guys. They were able to convince the prestigious Federal Bureau of Investigation to pull themselves out of a national security briefing on Islamic Jihad that had as participants two good friends of ours, one John Guandolo, who was a former FBI agent, and the other good friend of ours is the organization Act for America. They were involved in this briefing on the Islamic State and on the jihad going on right now in Texas. We're going to bring you some of the details of that. And due to CARE San Antonio, Texas, due to their protestations, things changed a little bit. Damon, can you read what was? Let me establish the situation. Then you be ready to read what the San Antonio Express reported just the other day regarding this event. And the Council on American Islamic Relations, this is a couple days ago, welcomed the withdrawal of the FBI representative. So the FBI was participating in this briefing from a February event in Texas that was initially sponsored by the anti-Muslim hate group Act for America.
Hold on. Who's writing this? Is this the CARE publication?
This is a CARE press release.
Okay, I thought,
Yeah. So the CARE welcomes the FBI withdrawing from this anti-Muslim hate group event that had Act for America in it and featured the notorious, this is great, you ready for these adjectives? Notorious anti-Muslim conspiracy theorist John Guandolo. I think it's time to give John a hand.
Yeah. All right.
not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 adjectives before his name. Notorious anti-Muslim conspiracy theorist. Okay.
Well, the
That's
funny thing
pretty
about it is, John actually puts no theories out there whatsoever in these presentations. Everything is completely fact. As far as like the convictions and everything like this, he goes, in the FBI, we call this a clue.
I know. Listen to the rest of this. Kerr goes on to say that the notorious anti-Muslim conspiracy theorist John Guandolo, who is one of the authors of Sharia, the Threat to America, and Secure Freedom Strategy. I'm an author humbly of both of those. Kerr goes on to say that the February 13th event, which is a week from today, called Domestic Jihad and ISIS. Now, few people on the face of the earth know more about domestic jihad. He was the head of the Muslim Brotherhood component of the FBI, John.
Now, he actually wrote the first training manuals for the FBI on how to go out and find Muslim Brotherhood operatives. The very first one. He was like on this stuff way before 9/11 and all this other garbage.
So Kerr goes on to say, on the February 13th event entitled Domestic Jihad and ISIS, hosted by St. Mary's University for Terrorism Law in San Antonio, originally John was going to be one of the featured speakers, but Kerr protested so loudly that last Wednesday, a week ago, Kerr called on the FBI to withdraw from the event. And, Damon, read what the San Antonio Express reported.
Okay, according to the newspaper, quote, the FBI has canceled its participation in an upcoming St. Mary's University forum on domestic jihad after a Muslim civil rights group criticized the school's Center for Terrorism Law for inviting a speaker called an anti-Muslim conspiracy theorist. We welcome the withdrawal of the FBI.
No, that was what the San Antonio Express News wrote. Now, that was a little sidebar in the press release. Now, the San Antonio Care office now comments on the statement that they gave to the San Antonio Express News. They say, we welcome the withdrawal of the FBI from... Does the FBI work with CARE now? Or
they're not supposed to.
what is this thing right here?
That would be the Department of Justice Inspector General. That's just a 6-page executive summary of how the FBI is supposed to interact and not interact with the Council on American Islamic Relations.
See, the beauty of our show, folks, is look, we do play around a little bit. We do edutainment. We tane you while we edutate you. So, and it's a wonderful mix of all of that. But this is very, very serious information. The Inspector General did a big inspection and investigation into CARE a while back after Holy Land Foundation trial 2008-2009, and basically said, we can't, the FBI cannot be interacting with CARE in a buddy-buddy, BFF relationship, because CARE, out of Washington, D.C., and then by complete association, all of their affiliate chapters, is considered a co-conspirator in a terrorism case. Now, going beyond that, just recently...
Well, they're founded by terrorists, they run by terrorists, and everything they get is from terrorists.
Quack, quack.
What are you talking about?
If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Marzouk founded them, and
recently, a hardcore Arab Sunni nation, the United Arab Emirates, declared CARE in Washington, CARE in the United States, terrorist organization, and CARE went crying to the UAE, who used to be their friend. No.
And landlord.
And landlord. We'll bring that out. We got some stuff on that. Hey, Nihad, you and me, bro. We got some good stuff on your former landlord and you guys, but that's for another show, okay?
You know what? I was thinking about this last night. We have laid off of CARE there's been so much international jihad to cover. We have given CARE too much of a break over the last few weeks, and I think we have to get back into bashing that domestic terrorist organization.
you don't have to bash them, just tell the truth.
Our operatives need to bore in a little more deeply. Hang on. We're going to work on that. We're not on the air, are we? Are we on the air?
Yes,
we
Tom,
are.
you are.
Oh, can you erase what I just said?
No,
No,
Tom,
Tom,
we can't.
It's too late. It went out.
It's out. It's out.
I just make this.
Hi, Hassan. Hey, we're on in Tampa. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right, huh? No.
We're on in Tampa. Hey, Hassan, what's up, buddy?
Yo. Yeah, we're now being,
Ahmed.
our show is now being broadcast, ironically, how did that happen? In Tampa,
Magic.
Florida, by Inshallah. Tampa is the seat of the Jihad Inc. here in the state of Florida. But this is a Inspector General report basically telling the FBI, don't screw with CARE. Leave them alone. They're bad people. And now we have CARE in San Antonio. We're going to make a phone call in a second. Get ready for the phone call. We have CARE in San Antonio saying, oh, we welcome the withdrawal of the FBI from this event and applaud the decision to drop John Guandolo as Speaker and Act for America sponsor, said CARE San Antonio President Sarwat Hussein.
Say what?
Hussein. Sarwat says the discussion of solutions to the plague of terrorism is too serious a subject to be left to conspiracy theorists and hate groups. I think, gentlemen, we ought to call up the principals here and let them speak for themselves. We can implicate CARE all we want as a terrorist organization based upon the facts present. Why don't we let Mr. CARE San Antonio President Sarwat Hussein speak for himself? If we can get him on the line, we're going to call him
We're going to
live.
try it, but we have to do it live with the phone call and everything here.
Yeah, live.
Okay, here we
call
go.
it.
Here we go.
I'll just talk to him. Here we go.
You're going to get a recording.
Sarwat Hussein.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Is this CARE San Antonio?
Yes.
Okay, hi. Yeah, my name is Tom Trento. We are on the air right now live, and we are looking at your press release you put out regarding the hate groups and this fellow John Guandolo that was going to be speaking in San Antonio. And we see that there's a press linkage to your president, Sarwat Hussein. We'd like to talk to him about this amazing development.
Who are you, sir?
My name is Tom Trento. We're on a live radio show now out of Florida, SRB 740 in South Florida. WSRB?
Yes.
SBR.
SBR.
But we got you sent us a press release, and we want to talk to Sarwat Hussein.
The press release is from when he was speaking at the Center for Terrorism Law.
Yes, the press release references the St. Mary's University for Terrorism Law in San
Right.
Antonio. And you folks objected to John Guandolo and this other group, Act for America, and you successfully got these hate people out. You referred to hate groups, and the press release has your president on. I'm looking at it right now. For more information, contact San Antonio President Sarwat Hussein.
Right.
So if
He is not available right now.
okay.
If you want, you can talk to Ibrahim Hooper in D.C., and he can explain you also the same way that you would.
Oh,
Okay.
Ibrahim Hooper in now where is he located?
In D.C.
Oh, does he have anything to do with San Antonio?
Right. Sarwat Hussein is in San Antonio. Ibrahim Hooper is in D.C.
Yeah, but this occurred in San Antonio. Does the Washington office have anything to do with San Antonio?
Well, of course, that is our headquarters.
Oh, okay. Is
All
there
the
anyone?
chapters work under the headquarters.
Oh, okay. Is there anyone else that could talk on behalf of San Antonio?
He can speak to you. You can talk to him.
So basically, Ibrahim Hooper is the guy to talk to.
Right.
Okay. All right, we will do that. I guess you guys are pretty happy that you successfully got these hate people.
It's not a question of being happy or not. The question is that just like Muslims cannot go and spread wrong information to anybody else, nobody else should be allowed to do that either. This is a free country, and this is a civilized country. by the grace of God, majority of the Americans are good people. Only a handful are trying to spread the wrong message about Islam and making money on it. They're getting paid to do this.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's a good point. I mean,
lies and wrong message, everybody should stand up for that, not just the Muslims, you know. If anybody comes and tells me something, I'm just a worker here, but if anybody tells me something wrong against Christians, Jews, or Hindus, or anybody else, or just America, of course, I take a stand on it.
yeah, but
So wrong is wrong, whether he does it or anybody else does
that's a
it.
good point. Now, we've talked to some of the folks that were involved, and their view was they had a First Amendment right to speak out, in any way they want it, and then let the audience decide. Do you think they had a First Amendment right?
Well, if that is the way it is, they should not have dropped him. They should not have dropped him.
No,
They should have kept him.
Sure, but
You know, all we did was just wrote a letter.
no,
They
do
did
you-
not have to drop him.
okay,
I
yeah.
mean, they could have kept him. Why did they do that? We did not go there and threaten them or anything. We just wrote a polite letter. What he is doing.
Right. Do you think they have a First Amendment right to criticize?
Of course, everybody has a First Amendment right. So do we.
Okay.
So does the Muslims.
Okay, so if they want to put another conference on there and someone else wants to sponsor them and they want to allow them to speak according to their First Amendment right, you can protest, but if they go through with the program, that's okay, correct?
This is America, sir. What can
Okay,
we
good.
do?
Good. No,
You know,
that
we
sounds
still
good.
have to speak up. That is all there is to it.
Yeah, I think it was in Texas also, where there was a trial on terrorism not too long ago, and the organization CARE was determined to be by the U.S. government a co-conspirator in that terrorism trial.
No, probably you have not seen what came out after that.
Oh, what
The
happened?
judge dropped that.
Oh, okay.
And the media or anybody else, all the hate mongers would ignore all those news. As far as the unindicted conspirators are concerned, what is unindicted conspiracy? If it is, then indict them.
Okay. And
Talking from both sides of your mouth and just blaming this is what they are, prove it.
okay.
Prove it. Take them to the court.
Okay. Now, if
Obviously, there is no truth in that. That is why they have not done that. I have to go.
Okay.
If
But
you
I
could
got
call
one last
Rahim
question before you
Hooper,
go.
he can answer more of your questions.
I will do
okay?
that, and you've been very, very nice. One just last question. If the facts on that Holy Land case actually proved to be different, that the judge didn't alleviate or exonerate CARE, but in fact maintained the unindicted status.
Not only CARE, they said there was not any proof against CARE or any organization
Okay.
that they brought into as co-indicted conspirators.
If the facts are different, would it persuade you differently if the facts of that legal case
I don't
are
know
different?
where you got the facts. I
Okay.
don't know any of that. Probably you can talk to the headquarters. They can explain it to you better.
I will talk to headquarters. Thank you very, very much for your time. Appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
being on our show. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye now.
Contact Ibrahim Hooper. Seriously?
Well, our audience doesn't know is a very nice lady. Very nice lady. Still on the phone or?
No, it's not.
No, very nice lady, here's the problem. We wanted to talk to Sarwat Hussein, and they just, the person, the volunteer, whatever, answering the phone. Now, we identified ourselves on a radio show. We're live, all of that stuff. I told her my name. We did what we wanted to do and did it the right way. We're looking for somebody else. She was willing to discuss this. These guys
Have it locked
in
down.
CARE are going to lock her down. They're going to be so upset with her for talking to us.
Uh-huh.
And
Especially this guy right here.
Yeah, Ibrahim Hooper. He's a clown. I mean, come on.
We tried to call him last year.
He keeps hanging up on us.
I know.
But We had a civil conversation.
Right.
She was pretty well informed on stuff, except she got the party line stuff at the end there with
She got
they're
sideways,
no longer
even
all
though
of
it was
that.
completely wrong and false. Everything. she said.
And she did what she's supposed to. She was pushing us toward her boss. So she really did nothing wrong. Now they're going to say, shouldn't talk to anybody about
she
anything.
did plenty wrong, and I'll tell you.
Well, no, we're going to get into that. But in terms of you having a volunteer work at the thing, she did her best. You don't want them to be rude to people. She was very nice. I was very nice to her. These guys that care are going to be furious with her.
Furious.
The supremacist men are going to say, what did you talk to him? You're not allowed to talk to him. We don't want you saying anything. You know what you said to him. They're going to do all this stuff. See, that's the horror of this thing, the system of Islam. Yeah, she gave a lot of information.
I'll tell you, she just nailed them. Because what does Hassan Shibli, the guy in Miami whose name I'm not going to mention right now, okay, what do all the chapter leaders say? When you say you're an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest terror funding case ever, they always say, oh, that's CARE National. She just said that CARE National is in charge of all the chapters. That is so damning, right there.
When she come out and she says, oh, you need to talk to our national representative, because they always claim independence of CARE National. Every chapter throughout the state declares their independence from CARE National. Ibrahim Hooper is the national spokesman for CARE National. It's completely directed by CARE. It is completely directed 100%. And we didn't ask for a national spokesman. She volunteered it.
Yep.
Right off the
That was so incriminating.
Yes and no. Now this is a CARE press release at 51 minutes after, folks. Tom Trento here, Enemies of the State. We just talked to CARE, enemy organization, and we contacted CARE in San Antonio. Tried to talk to the president, Sarwat Hussein, regarding their little gentle letter to the FBI to disassociate with John Guandolo and Act for America, when in fact the full court press was on, we know, behind the scenes, by National, by everybody, in D.C., everywhere, to get rid of Guandolo and
Because they've been doing
Brigitte
it for
Gabriel.
years to him.
Oh, and I'm
Exactly.
sure the SPLC somewhere involved.
SPLC is involved. But on this press release, the first person to contact is President Sarwat Hussein, which we tried to do. Then it's Ibrahim Hooper after that. Now, what Damon just said is absolutely true. This woman made a direct connection between CARE in San Antonio and the ruling body, the mullahs, the big kahunas in Washington, D.C.
They are Sunni, not Shia. They're not the mullahs.
I know. The imams up there. But what is Hassan Slick Shibli going to say? He's going to say this. Tom, if I talk to one of your volunteers and they tell us that you were an astronaut and flew to the moon, and then you put spy satellites out to spy on every Muslim.
We didn't
Well, you did that.
We didn't.
Am I going to believe? Are you going to accept a volunteer's confused, non-factual, non-legal statement as binding evidence, Tom? When in fact we know it's different. That's what he's going to say.
Yeah, but how about why is Honest Ibe's name at the bottom? Why is he the second contact on this release?
I'm going to say Occam's razor, Hassan. Occam's razor. The explanation that's most simple is usually the right one. This lady, who was not uninformed and not intelligent and a very nice lady, she said, I'm sorry, she did what she was instructed to do. This is a Washington, D.C. issue because they oversee our operation. We all know that. Everybody knows that, except the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They don't know that at this point. Unbelievable.
Hey, what's in that executive summary over there, that DOJ executive summary? Why did we bring that up?
Go ahead, explain it.
The reason that came up.
This is just 60 pages. This is just
Okay, that's a 6-page executive summary. The reason that that this came up is CARE in 2008 was told that there is to be no interaction with CARE. The FBI was told no interaction with CARE outside of investigative work. No outreach, no fun and games. They are a criminal enterprise. And when that lady said that their status as unindicted co-conspirator had been reversed, she's an absolute liar. That is not the case. In fact, the judge upheld that. They filed to have their name removed as unindicted co-conspirators, and Judge Solis said, absolutely not. You are Hamas. So that was a lie when she said that, an outright lie. And when she said, I don't know where you're reading that, how about the Department of Justice's own website? That's ridiculous.
And
now, back
you
to,
notice, I don't want to smash her. And
right,
I
exactly,
wanted to
because you're Tom, you're not me.
No, I wanted to get her on the record. We're on the air live. I wanted to get her on the record that if the decision actually isn't that, will it change your mind at all? And then she diffused and went all over the place. So,
so basically, that report is reinforcing the 2008 decision that FBI field offices are not allowed to
I'm going
have.
to read the conclusion.
Yeah.
In 2008, that's very important. Right now, the first part of our show today, we had Jerusalem Jane giving us an update, an uplifting date from Jerusalem, Israel. Now, the second half of our show is a down date, a depressing story about San Antonio, about Texas. When you think of Texas, you think of real men, real women, salt of the earth, black and white, hardcore.
I don't
they
know.
are so infiltrated by the Muslim mafia, it isn't funny.
Tom,
That's
when
where
I-
Holy Land took place.
When I think of Texas, I think of this.
There you go. All
I
those
think of
total Islamic dirtbags.
Gishan Alauji, 65 years, all Texas.
Yep.
But applicators, Abu Baker, all of these guys are all founded out of the whole CARE Texas
They're in
branch.
jail or
They're in
on
jail.
Mashal.
65 years, 20 years, 20
Come
years,
on.
11
Now,
years, everything.
here's our
jail for being
here's our
terrorists.
critically important point for this portion of the show on Jumpin' Jumm'ah Freaky Friday, February 6, 2015. Very important. Our very good friend John Guandolo and Brigitte Gabriel both got extricated from this event, improperly so, and the FBI did it. Now, we're gonna throw this in the face of the FBI because they did this. And I'm going to read the conclusion of the Inspector General's investigation of 5 situations where field offices violated the policy that was established after breaking complete communication with CARE in 2009. In 2008, the FBI developed a policy intended to restrict field offices' non-investigative interactions with CARE. That means if you can investigate these suckers, do whatever you want. You're going to do buddy-buddy talk to get their input. Done! We ain't listening to these liars anymore. They're lying terrorist supporters. However, in 3 of the 5 incidences we reviewed, different cities, we concluded the policy was not followed. Despite recognizing the importance of the policy, no communications with CARE. By issuing multiple ECs, electronic communications, and holding a mandatory meeting with field office leadership to ensure compliance, we found the FBI did not conduct, we being the Inspector General, overlooking the FBI, did not conduct effective oversight to ensure compliance with the policy. Inspector General saying, you FBI, you screwed up playing around with CARE. Additionally, FBI field offices at times contacted OPA instead of the required points of contact under the policy, and the OPA did not consistently coordinate when that happened. Office of Public Affairs. We found out the OPA, which has a different mission and focus than other divisions, provided guidance regarding interactions with CARE that we found was inconsistent with the policy. They're getting lambasted here, the FBI is, by the Inspector General, to help the FBI recommendations. Improve its implementation of the policy, no CARE. The Office of Inspector General has 2 recommendations. They are screw CARE and never go see CARE, but they say it a little nicer. Here's what they say. To ensure effective implementation of the FBI policy relating to interactions with CARE, including the coordination mandated with the policy and enforcement and oversight and compulsory with the policy. All bureaucratic nonsense. Provide comprehensive education on the they're going to reteach the FBI agents not to mess around with CARE.
You mean, but that's after CARE had to reteach the FBI on how to not be Islamophobic.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me see if I got
We
this.
got a confused FBI.
Let me see if I understand this real quick.
And who? And go ahead.
The FBI was told
10 seconds.
not to reach out to CARE. CARE did it anyway. The Inspector General came out and says, yeah, you did it anyway. You should not do this. But now the FBI still does it.
Still does.
But the FBI bends over backwards to accommodate them now in Texas.
And John
Yes.
Wandolo and Brigitte Gabriel,
Who
who
wrote
free
the Muslim-
speech rights, are the
What?
bad people.
Who wrote the Muslim Brotherhood training manual for the FBI
Is the bad person.
is the bad guy.
And
The world's upside down.
the world is upside down, but Ibrahim Hooper can straighten it out. Next week, we call Ibrahim Hooper once again.
And watch his reaction.
Tune in. See ya. Bye.
Bye.